Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Learning English with Podcast Conversation. I'm your host, Tony, and today we have a very special guest with us, Jenny. Jenny, thank you for joining us.
Hi, Tony. It's great to be here. Thanks for inviting me.
Today's topic is something I think everyone can relate to, and it's super important for growth. Dealing with failure and learning from mistakes. Jenny, what are your initial thoughts when you hear this topic?
Oh, that's a big one, Tony. I think for most people, failure feels very uncomfortable, right? Nobody likes to fail. It can make you feel sad, maybe angry, or even ashamed.
Absolutely. It's a common human experience. But it's also true that we often learn the most important lessons from our mistakes, don't we? It's like you fall down, and then you learn how to stand up better.
Exactly. I think the key is to change our mindset about what failure actually is. Many people see it as the end, like, oh, I failed, so I should stop, but maybe it's just, a step in the process.
That's a fantastic point, Jenny. A step, not a stop. So why do you think we are often so afraid of making mistakes or failing? Is it because of how society views it, or is it something more personal?
I think it's a bit of both. Society often celebrates success and doesn't talk much about the struggles or the failures that came before that success. So we grow up thinking failure is bad and should be avoided at all costs. Personally, I think we also fear judgment from others, right? We don't want people to think we're not smart enough or capable enough.
Yes, that fear of judgment is very real. It can stop us from trying new things or taking risks. For example, when I was learning a new language, I was so afraid to speak because I didn't want to make grammar mistakes. I just wanted to be perfect from the start. But, of course, that's impossible.
Oh, I totally get that. Learning a new language is a perfect example where mistakes are, well, unavoidable. You have to make them to improve. If you never try to speak, you'll never get better. It's like trying to learn to ride a bicycle without ever falling down.
That's a great analogy. You will definitely fall a few times, scrape your knee, but then you learn to balance. So how can we start to change our mindset? How do we go from fearing failure to seeing it as this step in the process you mentioned?
Well, first, I think we need to be kinder to ourselves. When you make a mistake, don't immediately say, oh, I'm so stupid, or I'm no good at this. Instead, maybe try to say, okay, this didn't work. What can I learn from this? It's about being curious instead of critical.
Being curious, I like that. It shifts the focus from I am a failure to this failed and I can investigate why. So after we acknowledge the mistake and are kind to ourselves, what's the next practical step?
The next step is really to analyze it. Ask yourself questions like, what exactly went wrong? Why did it go wrong? What were the conditions? What did I do or what didn't I do? It's like being a detective. You gather information.
That makes so much sense. So it's not just feeling bad, but actively thinking about the situation. Can you give us an example, perhaps a personal one, where you really had to be a detective after a mistake?
Oh, yes. I have a perfect example. A few years ago, I decided to start my own small online business selling handmade jewelry. I spent a lot of time making beautiful pieces, creating a website, taking photos, everything. But after a few months, I had almost no sales. I felt really, really discouraged. I thought, oh, I'm a terrible business person. This was a huge mistake.
Wow, that sounds tough. What did you do then?
Well, I almost gave up. But then I remembered what we're talking about today. I decided to be a detective. I asked myself, what went wrong? I looked at my website traffic, my product descriptions, my prices, my marketing strategies. And what I found was, interesting.
Oh, tell us. What was the big discovery?
The biggest problem was that almost nobody knew my shop existed. I had a great website and great products, but I wasn't telling anyone about them. My marketing was basically zero. I thought if I built it, people would just magically find it. Laughs. So the mistake wasn't the product or the website, but my marketing strategy.
Ah, that's a classic one. So many people face that. It's like having a beautiful secret. And what did you do after that realization?
I started learning about online marketing, social media promotions, and SEO search engine optimization. It was a lot of work, but slowly, more people started visiting my shop, and I started making sales. It wasn't an overnight success, but it started moving in the right direction. My failure taught me that a good product isn't enough. You also need a good strategy to reach your customers.
That's an amazing story, Jenny. It really shows how failure can lead to new knowledge and eventually success. My own story, speaking of public speaking earlier, I remember one time I had to give a presentation, and I was so confident I thought, oh, I know this topic perfectly, no need for extensive notes.
Oh no, I think I know where this is going. Chuckles.
Yes, exactly. I got up there, started speaking, and then, mid-sentence, my mind just went blank, complete silence. I felt my face turn red. It was awful. I stood there for what felt like an eternity, unable to remember what I wanted to say next. Someone in the audience kindly prompted me, but it was really embarrassing.
Oh wow, that sounds like a nightmare. How did you recover from that?
Well, at that moment, I just wanted the ground to swallow me whole. But afterward, when I reflected, I realized my mistake was overconfidence and under-preparation. I knew the topic, but I hadn't practiced presenting it. I hadn't structured my points clearly enough to rely on memory alone, so from then on, I always prepared. I made clear bullet points, rehearsed my delivery, and even had backup notes. It taught me the importance of preparation, no matter how well you know something.
That's a powerful lesson. It's not just about knowing, it's about knowing how to perform or deliver. And it makes you more resilient too, doesn't it? Because you faced that tough moment and came out stronger.
Absolutely. It built my resilience. I still get nervous sometimes, but I know I've prepared, so that fear of going blank is much smaller. Another thing I've learned is that it's okay to ask for help when you're facing a problem you can't solve yourself. I mean, my attempt to fix my own computer once led to me breaking it even more. Laughs. Sometimes the lesson is, call an expert.
Laughs. Oh yes. That's a very practical lesson. Not every mistake needs a deep analysis of your character. Sometimes it's just, I picked the wrong tool, or I should have asked for directions.
Exactly. So going back to our detective work, after we analyze what went wrong, what's the next step? What do we do with that information?
Okay, so you've been kind to yourself, you've investigated. Now you need to strategize and take action. This means asking, what can I do differently next time? What new skills do I need? Who can I ask for advice? What's my new plan? And then you try again, but with your new information and improved approach.
So, it's not just learning, but turn knots to learning. That's where the real growth happens. It's an active process, not a passive one.
Precisely. And it builds what people call resilience. Resilience is like a muscle. The more you use it, the stronger it gets. Each time you face a setback, learn from it and try again. You're building that muscle. So the next time you fail, it doesn't feel as devastating.
That's a beautiful way to put it, Jenny. Failure as a workout for our resilience muscle. Speaking of which, sometimes people give up after one or two failures. How do we encourage ourselves and others to keep going?
I think it helps to remember that everyone, and I mean everyone, experiences setbacks. Look at famous inventors or successful entrepreneurs. Their stories are full of failures before they found success. Thomas Edison, for example, failed thousands of times before creating a working light bulb. He famously said, "I have not failed. I've just found 10,000 ways that won't work."
That's an inspiring quote. It completely reframes failure as part of the discovery process. It's not about being perfect, it's about being persistent.
Yes, persistence is key. And also, don't be afraid to talk about your failures with trusted friends or mentors. Sometimes, just sharing your experience can help you see it differently. Or they might offer a new perspective or solution you hadn't thought of.
That's very true. A different set of eyes can often see things we miss when we're too close to a problem. So Jenny, before we wrap up, what are 3 key takeaways you'd like our listeners to remember about dealing with failure and learning from mistakes?
Okay, 3 key takeaways. First, embrace mistakes as learning opportunities. They are not the end. They are just information for your next step. Don't be afraid to try and get things wrong. It's part of the journey.
Excellent. Embrace them.
Second, be a detective. When something doesn't work, don't just feel bad. Ask, why? And, what can I do differently? Reflect deeply on the situation to extract the lessons.
Love it. Be a detective, analyze, and reflect.
And third, keep trying and be persistent. Use what you've learned, adapt your approach, and try again. Each attempt, whether successful or not, brings you closer to your goals and builds your resilience.
Fantastic, Jenny. Embrace, detect, persist. I think that's a wonderful summary. Thank you so much for sharing your insights and personal stories with us today. It's been a really inspiring and informative conversation.
Thank you, Tony. I really enjoyed our chat. I hope it helps our listeners feel more confident about facing their own failures.
I'm sure it will. To all our listeners, remember that every mistake is a chance to learn and grow. Don't let the fear of failure stop you from trying. Embrace those challenges, learn from them, and keep moving forward. You've got this. Join us next time for more Learning English with Podcast conversation. Goodbye, everyone.
Bye, everyone.